Hi, I'm Keven LeBlanc, running for Herndon Town Council. Today I want to talk about something that none of us, well, we all talk about, but none of us really like, which is taxes. Taxes are obviously an important revenue base of any community. It's an unnecessary part of life, right? So taxes and death, the two things none of us can avoid. I think that in Herndon, we do have some tax concerns for sure. Our taxes have gone up. We pay meals taxes as well as residential property taxes. So, there is a fairly heavy burden on us, but we also get something for it. So we do have our own police, which make us feel safer. Our DPW is great. They're very generous with their time. They will, come out. Like if you are unable to bring your trash to the road, say for family emergencies or sickness or whatever, if you let them know, they'll come and get it. Our spring and fall cleanups are great, where they'll pick up anything that you leave. So there are things that we get from the taxes, but do I think that we could be more vigilant about it? Absolutely. So for example, the police, there are things that we pay Fairfax County taxes as well, and they provide support for. So for example, and I'm just calling out one example that I'm thinking of, but there are other places, and I think that we could go through the budget and ask Fairfax County for some sort of monetary rebate, given that our residents are paying Fairfax County taxes to a service that we don't use because it's repeated here in the town of Herndon, and we're paying Herndon taxes for those as well. So something like the police, they have their own crime lab. So certainly that crime lab cannot be as large as Fairfax County or the state of Virginia or the federal crime labs that we have access to. So, do we really need it? And can we even keep it as current as others, as it should be, or as the others are kept? So how, I'd like to understand what's the analysis of how often do we use that versus what the availability of a county one or others would be, since we do also use those at times, but, can we just rely on those and then regain or recapture the money there and save taxpayers? So let me go back to kind of what are the core taxes that we pay. So we pay business and professional license taxes, meals taxes, as I said. So the meals tax was really kind of designed, since we have so many people who are here for businesses, that they typically eat here. And so rather than taxing completely on residential property taxes, that we could spread the wealth a little bit by getting and capturing some taxes from the people that are here using our police, using our roads, using our other services during the day, without completely taxing the population that lives here. So those are meal taxes. Obviously, I said real estate. Now, real estate involves both commercial and residential. We have a transient occupancy tax, the cigarette tax, and a local sales tax. So there are other fees that the town gets revenue from. So those are parking tickets, vehicle registrations, use of the community center, building permits, so forth. All of this can be found in the town budgets. And if you scroll to page 14, you'll see that there's revenue for a general fund. So those things go kind of into the general fund. Now, there are three sources of revenue that are self-sustaining and do not get paid by the general fund. So one is the golf course, which I take advantage of, and I pay when I use those facilities. And so it funds itself through those fees. The water and sewer fund and the cemetery fund. So those all are self-sustaining. They're not using tax-based dollars to pay for them. But real estate is the highest source for the town, and the largest. That's basically divided between both commercial and residential. And so the commercial is about 41%, and the residential is about 59%. So maybe we play with the mix of that. Obviously, you don't want to stunt businesses from moving to the area, but the more that we can tax on commercial, then we don't have to raise on residential. And So I think that this is a very tricky situation, but I think that there are places that we need to line by line look at the budget, see what we can adjust, see what other communities are doing to adjust on the commercial residential split. I also really feel like while this is all available and there is a document that gets sent to town residents, kind of the budget at a glance, that budget at a glance really doesn't say much. So the town's website, to me, I don't know about you, but to me, it's a bit difficult to follow, to find things. So I think that we need to be, when I say being more transparent, it may not be that the data isn't there, it's just making the data more accessible and more easily findable and readable by the residents. And so I think really budgets and taxes is a big one, that we need to make it more accessible to everyone so that way we can see how we're going to spend the money exactly, and what breaks out in each of these areas and why we're doing it, what's duplicative with county or state, why we then are playing duplicative. Are we getting something additional for it? And, really just being much more diligent and greater stewards of all of our taxpayer dollars. Thanks.